If you're no longer getting stronger, struggling to build muscle, and basically feel like you're in a plateau, this is the ticket out of there. It's not just about training harder and grinding through workouts, it's what you're already doing. Working hard is not the answer. You need fine-tuning and to change the bad habits that you've picked up along the way. So let's cut out the guesswork and get intentional about going from stuck to strong. And if you have any questions along the way, please don't hesitate to send me a message and ask me to clarify anything that you may not understand. Random workouts get random results. If you're just hitting the regular, the usual, and hoping for new results, then you need to stop ignoring this advice. That is not how you make meaningful progress. Looking at what Elon Musk does with his money and copying it will not make you a billionaire. The same applies to your personal trainer's workouts. Strength is a skill, and skills are developed through repetition. If every workout is changing, you will never become skilled at any exercises. Just like if you're trying to learn a different language every week, you will never become fluent in any language. You have to double down on one language and dive deep into it. The same goes with exercise. You have to repeat them enough to become familiar with them. And there is a 4-step framework for skill learning. Step number 1, unconscious incompetence, aka random workouts. Basically, you don't know what you don't know. You're unaware of what your workouts need to be better, so you don't even realize that you need to improve yet. Step number 2, conscious incompetence. Now you know you're getting nowhere, but unsure what workouts to do. Awareness kicks in and you understand what you need to work on, even if you don't do it well yet. Number 3 is conscious competence. You know what to do, but you have to think a lot about it. You're learning the ropes. You can do the skill, but you have to think about it. It takes focus and effort to get it right, but you're able to perform it. And then number 4 is unconscious competence. You've mastered the technique, now it's time to add load. If we're talking about the gym. The skill or the exercise is automatic. You can do it without thinking about it, freeing up mental space for other things like mental resilience it takes to keep showing up at the gym and working hard. This is why it's essential to follow a well-structured game plan that allows you to repeat the same exercises enough to develop good enough technique to get strong. To simplify it, if you're not repeating exercises enough, you're never going to get strong. Look at the strongest people in the world, powerlifters. In a competition, they do the bench press, the squat, and the deadlift. 3 lifts. So what does their training look like? A lot of bench press, a lot of squat, and a lot of deadlift. Strength is a skill, so they repeat the exercise over and over and over again, refining their technique until they get to that point of unconscious competence, where good technique is automatic. You probably know that you need to be well recovered to get stronger, function well, and make progress. But what does that actually look like? Well, recoverability is like your phone battery. If you fully charge it overnight and only use it for light tasks, it can last all day and won't need much of a charge ready for tomorrow. But if you drain it, playing high-performance games, streaming videos, and running background apps without charging it, it'll die fast and take longer to get back to 100%, and your body's the same. Weight training, cardio, poor sleep, lots of stress, and bad nutrition will drain your battery faster. And the key to better recovery is not adding a recovery day, whatever the hell that means. It's usually doing less. So here is a 3-step framework to improve your recovery. Oh, by the way, these don't involve jumping into an ice bath and a sauna or a foam rolling session before and after your workouts. It's legitimate recovery, not just throwing stuff at it and hoping that it helps. I like to call this framework SA48. S stands for sleep, which you want to do 7 to 9 hours a night. This is your body's overnight charging station. If you don't give your phone enough time to charge or keep unplugging at 40-60%, you'll never feel your recoverability. The deeper and longer you sleep, the better your ability to repair muscle, recover your nervous system, and refill your energy reserves for harder workouts the next day. The A stands for adequate calories. Calories are like the power supply that fuels your recovery. If you're building muscle, at least hit maintenance calories so you have the raw materials or food for repair. And if you're losing fat, keep the deficit moderate, so don't go too aggressive, so you're not starving your body while asking it to perform. Under-eating will only lead to less energy and less productive workouts, and worst case scenario, higher injury risk. And 48 stands for resting your muscle groups for at least 48 hours. Just like a device needs time to cool down after heavy use like playing games or leaving a ton of apps open, your muscles need downtime before you hammer them again. Hitting the same muscle too soon is like trying to game on a phone that's already overheating. You'll get poor performance and probably actually do damage. If your muscles are still sore, don't train that muscle group again. Train something else or take a rest day because you probably need it. Make sure you leave enough time for your muscles to get sore, recover, and recharge for the next workout. Once you have full recoverability, it's time to do your workouts. And one big mistake a ton of people make is choosing poor exercises to try and get jacked. It's wasted recoverability. Doing combo exercises like lunges to curls, burpees, I hate them, and renegade rows. This will not result in great progress for building muscle. These are the things that you should focus on in an exercise that is good for building muscle. Number one, stability. The more stable you are, the more you can load the target muscle without wasting energy on balance. There is a time and place for these exercises, but for building muscle, it's not ideal. For example, a chest-supported row is usually better for back hypertrophy than a bent-over dumbbell row just standing for someone with a weak lower back. Number two, tension on the target muscle through full range of motion. The exercise should load the muscle in a meaningful way, both in the stretched position where the muscle is stretching out and the shortened position when the muscle is tensing. For example, dumbbell incline curls stretch the biceps more than standing barbell curls at the bottom of the rep because your arms are behind your torso. And that will still give a good squeeze at the top with a better stretch at the bottom. This doesn't mean never do barbell curls. I still do them and program them for clients, but something to consider when thinking of a good exercise is that full range of motion. Number three, progressive overload potential. You need to be able to add weight, reps, or improve execution over time without hitting a quick ceiling. This is why the renegade row isn't a great exercise. It's hard to add more weight because you're trying to balance in comparison to a single arm dumbbell row where you can get a nice wide base and it's more stable and you're able to add more weight to it, aka build more muscle and get stronger. Number four, joint friendliness. If the lift constantly irritates your joints, it's a poor choice for building size, for getting stronger, because you won't be able to stick with it. This differs from person to person as we all carry different injuries and limitations in genetics. And an example of this would be that many people swap barbell bench press for a slight incline dumbbell chest press with a neutral grip to keep your shoulders happier, because often the pronated grip can feel a bit touch and go for some people. So doing an incline dumbbell chest press can feel better for the shoulders while still targeting the chest. And then you have to think of repeatability. If you can't replicate good form set after set, it's not ideal for hypertrophy. You may just need to regress the exercise and work up the coordination for it, but it may just be a really hard exercise to execute and it's not worth the effort. For example, most people feel their quads way more in a hack squat than in a free barbell squat, making it easier to target the quads consistently. You could work up to a barbell squat in the future once you become more coordinated with that movement and work up to the squat from the leg press, hack squat, and split squat variations. Technique is the ceiling to your strength and amount of muscle you can put on. The worse your technique, the lower the ceiling. The better the technique, the higher the ceiling. Commercial gyms at peak hour are full of people having a solid crack, and the worst part is less than a handful of them seem to have good form. And I see this when I'm training, and I saw this being a personal trainer on the gym floor for over 5 years in Australia and New Zealand. So if you finally want to get bigger and stronger, all you have to do is train with good form. The bar couldn't be any lower. And these are the principles that you need to follow for good technique of any exercise. Oh, and before I jump into these are general rules for all exercises, but if you want specific technique videos for specific exercises, every exercise in all of my programs in Team Brock Ashby have exercise instructional videos to make sure that your form is locked in. Here are the 5 principles for good technique. Number 1, the target muscle must be the prime mover. If you're doing a leg curl, you should feel it in your hamstrings, not your calves or your lower back. And if joints feel sore after a lift, this is a good sign your technique needs to be improved. Number 2, a full range of motion. Every exercise should be taken through a full range of motion without forcing joints into an unsafe position, aka going further than your body can actually be capable of. For example, if you're doing a dumbbell chest press, the dumbbell should be touching your shoulder at the bottom of the rep, so you're maximizing the range of motion and the gains you can get per rep. Number 3, your technique needs to be repeatable. Similar to exercise selection, the technique should be able to be repeated with ease. If each rep looks different in a set of 10 reps, the technique has to be improved. Number 4, it needs to be controlled. Your eccentric rep or lowering of the weight doesn't have to be 5 seconds long and look like it's in slow motion, but your rep must be under control, which is usually a 2 to 3 second lowering portion of the weight and a 1 second lifting of the weight. For example, if you're just falling down to the bottom of your squat and bouncing back up, not only is that dangerous for your hips, lower back, knees, and ankle, it isn't controlled. Number 5, the rep has to be standardized. For every exercise, you want each rep to have guidelines to meet so that they can be repeated with ease. For example, push-ups, I make sure my nose touches the ground for any of my reps to count. For the bench press, the bar has to touch my chest for the rep to count. For a chin-up, my arms have to be straight at the bottom of the rep and my chin must rise above the bar. You have to hit the standard of that exercise for the rep to count, which makes tracking progressive overload much easier and takes away the gray area or cheating when you're lifting a weight that's so heavy you compromise your form just to achieve the weight. We're human, we all do it, but this is a surefire way to make sure that you don't cheat yourself and you make your progress able to be tracked very easily. This is how I would use science and the experience I've learned from 10 years of personal training to go from stuck to strong. And remember, if you have any questions or want any clarification from any of these points that you've learned today, please don't hesitate to send me a message. I'll see you later.